Well, welcome viewers, you're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Election season, we've just been through one. We're going to enter into one where Karnataka's concern has always brought low-level political discourse, either sides, be it the opposition or the government that is in power. Well, similarly, what went down post the Gujarat elections can be touted as one such event where political discourse this time around practically went to the chuhas, or, like they said, to the dogs. Having said that, let's take you now on what happened on the floor of the parliament this morning. A furious showdown erupted on something that the Congress president had said in the Bharat Jodo Yatra, where he had linked the Prime Minister to a mouse or a chuha, not when it came down to China or standing up against China, but to face a debate on the floor of the parliament. He said that the Prime Minister pretends to be a lion outside, but when it comes to facing a debate, which the opposition says that the government is stalling a debate on China on the floor of the House, that is when the Prime Minister turns into a mouse. Lots of other words were also used, but let's take you down on what happened at the back of that comment in Parliament, the winter session.
उनकी ईर्ष्या हो सकती है, उनको हमसे मतभेद हो सकती है, उनकी जेलसी होगी कि उनको तो मात्र 50 सीटें मिली, हमको 303 मिली, उनको ईर्ष्या और दुख हो सकता है कि उनकी पार्टी को कोई स्वीकार नहीं कर रहा है। लेकिन इस प्रकार का अभद्र भाषण देना मैं समझता हूं सभी का अपमान है, इस सदन का भी अपमान है और देशवासियों का, देश के हर वोटर का अपमान है।
जो मैं मेरी बातें कही वो पॉलिटिकली आउटसाइड द हाउस, नॉट इन द हाउस, यहां पर डिस्कस करने की आवश्यकता नहीं। और दूसरी चीज मैं अभी भी कह सकता हूं, आजादी के वक्त फ्रीडम मूवमेंट में उन लोगों को कोई रोल नहीं था।
All right, so viewers, what was it that Mr. Kharge had said that riled up the BJP so much? Well, at the Bharat Jodo Yatra, while it was going through the state of Rajasthan, when Mr. Kharge, Mallikarjun Kharge, the president of the Congress, joined the Yatra, he was addressing the cadre. And he said that we want a debate on the floor of the House. The Prime Minister pretends to be a lion when it comes down to issues on China outside, but when we want a debate on China on the floor of the House, the Prime Minister turns into a chuha. Not just that. Not just, linking him to a mouse, he also used the word dogs in another context as well. This is how it all played out.
Nobody said Indian politics was polite. Nobody said Indian politics is subtle or gentle. Nobody said Indian politics was lyrical and poetic. And it looks like the Congress's new president is taking these home truths very seriously.
बाहर तो शेर के जैसा बात करते हैं, लेकिन उनका जो चलना है वो सिर्फ आप देखेंगे तो चूहे के जैसा है।
Designating the Prime Minister a mouse in front of China would seem like a low blow, until you hear Mallikarjun Kharge invoke another animal too to attack Modi.
हमारे पार्टी के नेताओं ने जान दिया, तुम क्या किए? आपके घर में कोई देश के लिए कुत्ता तो मरा है? क्या कोई तो कुर्बानी दी है? नहीं।
The raw ruthlessness of Indian politics gives all such attacks a pass. But Kharge has proven to be especially keen to get his hands dirty in the mission to batter Modi. The BJP, always on a hair trigger to counter-attack when the punches land, has been quick to reply. In the parliament, BJP ministers raised their displeasure over Kharge's remark and urged him to apologize to PM Narendra Modi.
उन्होंने माफी मांगनी चाहिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी से, माफी मांगनी चाहिए सदन से।
ये डुप्लीकेट कांग्रेस, नकली कांग्रेस, दे कैन नॉट कंपेयर द लेगेसी ऑफ द कांग्रेस। ये तो कांग्रेस महात्मा गांधी जी ने कहा था, इसको विसर्जन करने के लिए कांग्रेस ओरिजिनल कांग्रेस ही नहीं है।
Like all such barbs directed the Prime Minister's way, the Chuha charge will likely be turned around and milked by the BJP.
भाई कांग्रेस के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष को हो क्या गया है? इस कांग्रेस के द्वारा जिस प्रकार की ओछी हरकत, ओछी बयान, इतना तुच्छ बयान निचले स्तर पर गिर जाएगी, कांग्रेस ये कल्पना नहीं कर सकता है।
खरगे साहब की जो पार्टी है वो सबों को कुत्ता ही समझती है। उनको ये नहीं पता है, इतिहास के बारे में जानकारी नहीं है कि जो हमारी ओरिजिनल पार्टी है भारतीय जनसंघ, वो 1951 में बनी। तो उस वक्त जब हमारी पार्टी ही एग्जिस्ट नहीं करती थी तो वो क्या बात करते हैं।
But it is with the Kutta bhi nahi mara comment that the Congress president may have taken a step too far. Given the emotive ingredients that make up the public view of the China border issue and the concept of political martyrdom. From being threatened with having his aukat exposed to being called Ravan, Prime Minister Modi has had a familiar season of near uninterrupted hostility. Away from another election cycle, Kharge and company clearly feel the need to punctuate Rahul Gandhi's yatra with Modi-centered barbs. Congress netas were seen justifying Kharge's remark.
आरएसएस के तरफ से कौन व्यक्ति था जिसने जेल भुगती, किसने आजादी की लड़ाई में भाग लिया और किसने ब्रिटिश हुकूमत का विरोध किया, वो नाम बता दें।
Congress has sacrificed his supreme leaders for this country. Okay. That is why he told the truth only. Why BJP become arrogant on these things?
But there is a thin line between putting the spotlight on an issue and handing ammunition handily to Modi. Few know this better than the Congress. And yet, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, for our political face-off this evening, and hopefully it'll be a lot more parliamentary than what we've seen go down in Parliament in the recent past, is Shazia Ilmi, Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson, Supriya Shrinate, Congress spokesperson. Ms. Shrinate, the fact is the BJP has gone to town demanding an apology. Yes, those comments of be it linking the Prime Minister to a mouse because he was not paying heed to the debate you wanted on the floor of the House, or using the word of a dog, weren't made on the floor of the Parliament. But they were unparliamentary, to say the least.
You know, Bharatiya Janata Party should be the last in the row of political parties to raise objections to use of words. The kind of language that the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, of any of them use, forget about the floor of the House, but in election rallies will put a 2-year-old to shame. So they should be the last ones to talk about it. But that is not the debate, Preeti. And I am saying that with some responsibility. Yes, everybody should speak parliamentary language. Yes, everybody should be in a dignified conduct. But that is not the issue. The issue is that China is doing things at the border. China has altered the status quo for over 2.5 years now. What have we done about it? 20 of our brave hearts died. What have we done about that? We are increasing trade with China at an astronomical rate. The trade deficit that Mr. Modi inherited in 2014 was $36 billion. It has gone up to $73 billion, more than double. They want to stay quiet. They are conducting military exercise troops with Chinese military for Russia's Vostok in September 2022. The External Affairs Minister...
Mr. I'll come, let her finish, I'll come right back to you.
The Minister can get up and make any tall proclamations. The External Affairs Minister can get up in the Parliament and make any tall proclamations. But the reality is that we, in some sense, are funding the Chinese military exercise on the border. And the Prime Minister of this country refuses to name China. He met Mr. Xi Jinping in Bali in November 2022. Did he raise the issue of 20 brave hearts? He was seen laughing and smiling and, a lot of bonhomie with Mr. Xi Jinping, which is why questions will be raised. This is about national security. This transcends the Congress or the BJP. This is about India's territorial integrity.
All right. As I bring in Shazia Ilmi, but Ms. Shrinate, the fact is is about national security. It's about China and India's relationship. It could be about everything else that you want to put the spotlight on. But sadly, what it's become is, because of the narrative set by some of your leaders, it's become about Chuha, it's become about Kutta, it's become about Pitai of our soldiers. And you also know the BJP best to turn it around and milk it, ma'am. And they have every right to do so. I'll come back to you. But let me bring in Shazi Alvi. Let's just be fair. I'll just get her in.
I disagree with you.
Okay.
Ma'am,
you're allowed.
Disagree with you.
You're allowed to disagree.
You're
allowed to disagree. But I'll come right back and I'll bring in Shazia Ilmi. Shazia Ilmi, the fact is, in what context was this statement made? A, it wasn't made to the floor of the parliament. It was made in the context of the Bharatiya Janata Party running away from a debate, is what the Congress alleged at that point of time. It didn't come in the context of possibly what the BJP is painting out to be, is what the Congress alleges.
So first things first, there are three aspects to this debate. One, the topic on which I have been invited to speak, which is the kind of language used by Mallikarjun Kharge, the president, president of the Congress party. Two, the misgivings Congress might have in the parliament vis-a-vis the BJP. And third, what is going on across the LAC and in particular the Tawang sector in Arunachal Pradesh. So first, because you invited me to speak on this topic, I will speak about the fact that Mallikarjun Kharge used not just very poor or pathetic language, but really cut a sorry figure, and not just by using the expressions like chuha, kutta, and invoking the balidan or qurbani of the Congress leaders as in the context of BJP or Prime Minister Modi. If you are talking about present situation, what is going on, I don't know what was the need to talk about the sacrifices made about the former Congress leaders. And as Piyush Goyal rightly pointed out, Gandhi was all for dissolving of the Congress party. So this is, in that sense, they disobeyed Gandhi himself. So I can go into that. I can also go into the fact that how the military reverses that India suffered because of Nehru and because of the policies of the former Prime Minister, the first Prime Minister of this country. I can also talk about, let me finish one by one. I can now also talk about the secret agreement or MOU signed between Rahul Gandhi and the Gandhi family, the contents of which are not known, the MOU between the Communist Party of China and the royal family of India. Because clearly they're not the grand old party, because this is clearly a Nakli Congress and not the Congress. Because it was not meant to be, and I believe in Mahatma Gandhi more than I would believe in Nehru or anyone else. And thirdly, I would like to say and reiterate that we can talk about that also. When you go and talk about our Jawans and talk about Pitai, when you invoke the sacrifices of Congress leaders
coming back
of
to you,
yesteryears,
finish. Make your point, Ms. Ilmi.
And you must talk about also the Chinese embassy giving funds to Rajiv Gandhi Foundation and all that has happened. I mean, I can open it and it can be
when it comes down to your last point, Ms. Ilmi,
but this kutta, billi talk and this talk of chuha in the context of talking about the Prime Minister or the ruling party or dispensation is completely uncouth, vulgar, and in poor taste.
All right, Ms. Ilmi, when you talk about the Chinese government or the embassy giving in funds to the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, ma'am, over 38 crores has been given by various Chinese-owned company to the PM Cares Fund also. So let's not get into that because it's pretty much exactly the same when it...
No, it's not the same thing. Rajiv Gandhi PM Cares Fund is under the audit of the Indian government and authority.
So, madam,
it is not a private body.
Is the Indian government, ma'am, is the Indian government...
Preeti, you're always low on your facts, I've noticed.
No, ma'am, I'm not low on my facts. Let me tell you, what is the mandate of the Rajiv Gandhi... One second. Ma'am, you're making... Okay, one second. Madam, you made a very pointed question that I'm low on my facts. Let me ask you, what is the mandate of the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation?
You displayed...
Madam, what is the mandate of the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation?
So let me say it. So
Madam, I'm asking you, you're charging me for being low on facts. Let me ask you, what is the mandate of the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation?
No, I'm charging you. I'm asking you. Do you know the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation was a private foundation?
Ma'am, do you know what the mandate for that is? It's for public good.
One sec, let me get into... No, Preeti, no. You're skating on thin ice. That's why you're not letting me speak.
Madam, you have been speaking non-stop.
Let me finish. Allow me to say one thing.
Finish, please
Since you jumped in. since you jumped into Supriya Srinath's rescue, let me jump to my rescue.
Madam, it's not Supriya Srinath's rescue. You like to derail a debate.
No,
you can derail a debate.
Let
me tell you the foundation.
No, let me come.
If the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, the mandate was it to...
Why you riled up?
Ma'am, I'm not riled up at all. You made a statement. I'm the moderator of this debate.
Is audited by the Auditor General, Comptroller and Auditor General. That is the difference. Now you get
the fact is both of them, ma'am. Let me come in again.
Both of them. You don't.
Let me come in again.
I'm
not conceding. What am I conceding?
No.
The fact that the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation took funds from the Chinese embassy, the fact that the PM Care Fund was funded over 38 crores by various companies which are owned and see their ownership in China.
But the Chinese embassy, do you think there's a difference there? Chinese embassy.
Madam, these are money coming in from China. No, we are still in trade with China.
Okay.
Right? But I'll come back to Supriya Srinath. And Supriya Srinath, the fact is, what the question I asked you earlier, is this conversation about China? Is this conversation about trade? Is this conversation about anything that you want to put the spotlight now? No. The conversation is, madam, whether you like it or not, about Rahul Gandhi talking about our soldiers getting beaten up at the border. It is about Mr. Kharge calling the Prime Minister a chuha in the face of China and not a dog that has died when it comes down to sacrifice for the country.
Firstly, let me put it in black and white. When you come for a debate on a show and on a channel like India Today, come prepared with facts. The CAG does not audit the Prime Minister Cares Fund that received 30 crore. Please don't speak in between. I did not rile you.
Madam, let's go one by one.
And listen to me now.
Make your point. I'll come back to you.
Got 30 crore rupees from TikTok. 30 crore rupees from TikTok, an app that they had banned. It got money from...
Madam, I'll come back to you. Hold your rebuttal. Please hold your rebuttal. I promise I'll come back to you. I'll give you enough time. Madam, I'm a moderator. May I let her make a point? I'll come back to you.
TikTok. No, Preeti, considering there's very facts have to be, they should be spelled out by you, that there is a difference between any company, and TikTok was banned by Bharatiya Janata Party's government.
Madam, Xiaomi, there are so many others, but having said that,
I must play that role also.
OnePlus, Xiaomi, all of that. Okay, I'll come back to you, let her make her point, and I'll come back to you. Go ahead, Mr. Nath, make your point.
One gets personal with anchors when they're losing ground on facts. The CAG does not audit. Firms that were banned by the Indian government were accepting money in the Prime Minister's Cares Fund by the same firms. There is a conflict of interest there because nobody knows what has happened to that fund that was brought in because this fund is not audited by the CAG. UC Web, have you heard about this company? Banned by the Indian government, used by the BJP in elections in 2019. Share it. Banned by the BJP. Listen to me now.
Let's go one by one. Let's go one by one. Mr. Nath, make your point. I'll go back to Mr. Nath.
Now listen to me. The Rajiv Gandhi Foundation does work in philanthropy. Rishi Raj Popat, who has solved the 2,500-year-old Sanskrit puzzle, was funded by the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. We are very, very proud of what the RGF does.
Can we just go one by one? Let's go one by one. Mr. Nath, make your point and then I'll go back to Mr. Nath. One by one.
I would like to know this. And this woman, no, I'm sorry, this woman doesn't even know basic things. She talks about believing in Mahatma Gandhi. So Godse ke upasko ke saath kyun khadi ho bhai? You are with the Godse party, the one that worships Godse. The Prime Minister of this country is the only Prime Minister in India who as Chief Minister and as Prime Minister has visited China 18 times. The Prime Minister is on record to say, मेरे और Xi Jinping के रिश्तों की आत्मीयता कोई समझ नहीं सकता. The Prime Minister is on record to say कि सेना से ज़्यादा साहसी तो व्यापारी होता है.
Okay, I'm running out of time. I want to bring in back Ms. Ilmi for a rebuttal. But Mr. Nath, it still doesn't take away the fact.
He regularly blasphemizes the army.
But Mr. Nath, it still doesn't take away the fact that the narrative right now is about Chuha, Kutta and Pitai. Having said that, but Ms. Ilmi,
the narrative is because you are letting it be.
No, ma'am, it's not. Don't blame us. The fact is, it's always great to be in a debate where both sides slam you. No, we are not allowing it. This is what you've allowed.
Understood?
Ma'am, sorry.
Mr.
Very basic.
You know, this is what is amazing is. All right, Mr. Nath.
Tell us the contents of the.
Okay, can I time out? This is Ms. Ilmi's rebuttal. Can I just get in Ms. Ilmi? May I just get Ms. Ilmi? Ms. Ilmi, yes, you wanted to come in for a rebuttal, but Mr. Nath, the fact is, it's not us who are building this narrative. It was allowed by you itself. But having said that, Ms. Elmi, go ahead. Make your rebuttal.
You know, Preeti, I find it so shocking that, you know, when there is a questioner, there is a walkout. They don't want to hear answers. There is a whole explanation given, point by point, and there's an entire update. But Preeti, what I find very shocking is that you use the language, I mean, you use words like chuha. You use things like, aapke kisi kutte ne bhi qurbani ki hai. I mean, what kind of language is this? Ki hamare jawanon ki pitai ho rahi hai. Do you know how not just demoralizing it is, but how inaccurate it is, when clearly it is not the case? So I just find it pretty disgusting that I have to watch this very indefensible and uncouth behavior, uncivil behavior by the Congress president, and that is being done by a fellow woman. And who is obfuscating and talking about everything else, because I can also talk about the MOU signed by the Communist Party of China and
the narrative, like I said, right,
the family of India.
Himmat hai to karo baat.
All right,
I would like them to talk on this, but they can't. They are funding the Chinese army by increasing our trade. Keep your mouth shut and stop funding the Chinese army. That is what I'm trying to tell you. You are taking money from companies banned by the Indian government.
Okay, let's
that is who you are. The Prime Minister goes and hugs Xi Jinping.
May I, with the permission of both our panelists, just, you know, step out of this debate. I appreciate both of you for joining us. Thank you there. I'm sure the debate will continue. Let's hope the rancor ebbs, but I have little hope on that account. But always nice when you're slammed by both sides, where it be in this case, the BJP or the Congress.